Hello, I'm Blue Blob Zero, and today in What is a Game, we are looking at Thomas Was Alone and seeing whether it is a game or not, or at least defining how it is or is not a game. So, the first thing we talked about last time was that a game has to have a goal, and Thomas Was Alone has a goal. In each level you have to get through to a certain portal, and then at the very end of the game there's a final portal that you have to get to. So that's your final goal, clearing each level to get to the final portal out of the extra universe that's been created. Now then we talked about gameplay. We've got the goal, but have we got the gameplay to get to the goal? Now it's reasonably simple, but the gameplay isn't just you move one cube to the right, one cube to the left, and they go in their things. It's always the same. You do actually have to think about what you're doing, and you have to use a variety of cubes to do lots of different things and actually get over different obstacles and stuff. And each different cube has got a different way of getting over different obstacles. So you've got the task of getting to the end of each individual level. You've also got the task of getting over certain obstacles. Certain cubes can only jump a certain distance. Certain cubes can... There's one cube that can actually go in the water. Only one cube can do that. Certain cubes have other different abilities, but I don't want to kind of spoil all their abilities for you. And so you have to utilise these to overcome different tasks. And so you've got the game plan, you've got the actions, you've got all the different tasks of all the different characters, and then you've got all the actions, you've got the tasks that you're actually doing and what you have to do. So we've got gameplay, we've got tasks. Now how have we got story? Now, an interesting tale about Thomas Was Alone. So when it was originally created, it was just going to be a platformer, as it is now, with just the cubes. And then he decided that maybe it would add a little more charm to add these kind of give the cubes some sort of personality. And the game story is all presented to you through the talking, but it's done in a really clever and charming way that it's just kind of brilliant. I think that the story just really gets you in, and even though they're cubes, you know their names. And you feel bad when you don't know a cube's name, and it's a cube, or at least a cuboid shape. One of them's a cube. His name's Chris, I think, and Thomas is a red rectangle. You know, it's done really well, and it's not, while it is literally black squares and a kind of purpley grey background with cubes that appear and disappear, and the game doesn't have a visual aesthetic necessarily. It has that story and is kind of, I don't know, it just evokes some sort of emotion in you, even though they are really just cubes that are jumping over blocks. I mean, it's not much more than that. So Thomas Was Alone not only has tasks, actions, a final goal, it also has a decent story. And for this way, I know this is a short episode, but we don't really need to... that's why I made the first episode as it is. This is just where I go into detail about a game, and what else is there to say about Thomas Was Alone? You go through a level, there's lots of different cubes, all different actions. In fact, you could almost use this as an example for quite a good video game, because it's got some clear-cut things. And I know that some people were saying, I'll just bring this up now, and I'll bring this up because I think I might include a SimCity game or something like that in my net if I do some more videos past these 5, about win states not having to be solid. And in a way, a win state can almost not be a lose state, but the lose state, it can be conditional. So you don't necessarily, it can be something that you don't have to reach, like not starving and don't starve. But I think some people didn't really, I think I need to put that point across more, because some people were saying that that is a goal, and I wasn't saying that. But no, I do think that goal doesn't necessarily, goal and win state aren't the same thing, is what I'm trying to say. So we'll just keep that in mind. But definitely for Thomas Was Alone, the goal is a win state. Get to the end of all the levels and get out. So what else is there to add really about Thomas Was Alone? Nothing really. I think the story suits it because they're cubes. If you had this story and the world was really nice and like one, well, it is quite nice, but more like really visually appealing and like some other indie platformers where their aesthetic is their main point, it might detract from it a little bit. I don't know. I think that having the cubes kind of actually adds something to it, because even though they're only cubes, that small emotion, you can't guess that from them, and so you rely on, and the text is done really well to actually bring out that emotion. So I think everything's kind of almost balanced, and I think it's kind of a really perfect game as it is, to be honest, and I think that it's kind of brilliant. So if you haven't played Thomas Was Alone, I would go and play it. I would wholeheartedly recommend it. It is a game. I'm not saying because something's an interactive experience that I wouldn't recommend it, because I definitely would, and we'll get to that when we get to the games. Next week we've got Proteus, and actually before I started playing that, I had my doubts, and actually have fallen in love with that game, or that interactive experience, and we'll discuss what it is next week. And I will see you then, I guess. So there's nothing more I can add about Thomas Was Alone. So I will see you then. Thank you for watching. Bye.